viewers and investors. Welcome to another episode of Outlook Money's Investment Made Easy webinar series. This episode is spearheaded by Mirae Asset Mutual Fund. Today's topic of discussion is thematic investing, what it is and how should investors approach it. Thematic investment focuses on long-term trends rather than specific companies or sectors which may help in better returns. The timing is very important when investing in thematic funds or stocks. That's because the performance of any sector or theme keeps changing as per the emerging economic scenario. I'm Sutit Sanyal, Assistant Editor, Outlook Money, your host for this session. And I am delighted to welcome Mr. Umesh Kumar Dalia, Head ETF Sales, Mirae Asset Investment Managers Private Limited, who will throw some light on the strategy one should adopt for investing in thematic funds. Dalia has over 17 years of experience in sales and distribution, channel management, business acquisition for mutual fund industry in both retail and banking sector. Welcome, Mr. Dalia. Let me begin with a question straight away. What is thematic investing and why is it growing globally?
Hi, Sutit. Thank you so much for having me on the show. So, I think thematic investing, when we talk about it, actually focuses on long-term structural trends and ideas to capitalize on them, basically, rather than focusing on a specific sector or companies. It enables investors to get returns through potential opportunities created by economical, social, or technological changes. A theme-based investment approach, if you talk about it, always allows investors to personalize their portfolios to include investment that are aligned with their interest and obviously with their expectations, and that are geared towards selected trends. Now, if we talk about the characteristics of thematic investing, since it's a very I won't say a new thing, but it's now emerging globally among investors' portfolio. The basic characteristics of thematic investing includes structural trends. It includes sector independence, okay, and then also it includes security selection, where it identifies companies with exposure to different target segments, different target themes, and also it captures the change. The companies which are trending right now, it captures those trends that reflects how the world is changing. So it's in other way, if I say, it is like investing for your future by investing in the future. That's how we can summarize the theme or thematic investing here. Now, if we talk about global numbers, so as per ETF GI, it says that globally there are close to 1,271 thematic ETFs already there, which is like put together, the AUM is around $419 billion. From around, so there are around 252 providers or basically manufacturers who has launched such products, which are listed on 51 exchanges, and that those funds are covering close to 41 countries. So this data is as on April 2022 as published by ETF GI. So if you look at overall last 5 years, so over last 5 years, thematic ETFs have witnessed a 3.5x growth in their assets and their popularity among investors, and that is expected to increase further in the coming years.
If you can elaborate as to how thematic investing is different from market caps and sector funds?
Yeah, I think that's a very basic question and very important also. So the major factor that differentiates thematic funds from market cap or a sector fund in their investment strategy, a thematic fund intends to capitalize a trend and would invest around a broader theme, right? That cut across different sectors, right? They are actually less concentrated as compared to sector fund, but they are little more concentrated as compared to when we compare these funds with market cap based funds. So just to give an example to explain it more, like in thematic funds like an electric vehicle fund, if we take that example, that invest into entire ecosystem entire companies involved from their entire supply chain of EV production, including automakers, auto component suppliers, raw material suppliers, battery providers, mining companies, and etc. So basically, when we talk about electric vehicle as a theme, it covers the entire ecosystem starting from mining till company produce the vehicle and it goes out into the market. Now, if we compare it with, on other hand, with the sector fund, like say, similarly, let's talk about example of an auto-based index fund that basically invest into companies like automobile OEMs, and obviously the auto ancillaries. So from a comparison perspective, the themes cater more bigger, or you can say universe than normal sector fund. So that's a, I would say, basic difference between sector, market cap, or a thematic fund.
That was a brilliant example in which you gave. I mean, it made things so much easier for our viewers also. I mean, because otherwise technical terms there's always a bit of a problem. But now that you have said this, so what are the various themes which are becoming popular, and what is the kind of uptick which you have seen in this funds globally?
Yeah, I mean, thematic investing has been gaining traction and popularity across the globe. If you look at, which is this sort of popularity and traction is basically leading to more innovation and emergence of many new thematic strategies in recent years. It has various categories and approaches to be, if you talk about, which differs in terms of investor expectations and the ideology that determine the underlying investments also. So if we compare, like if we talk about thematic funds as a universal, and what is the universe? So thematic funds that are universally available to investors via various approaches. I'll give you a few examples like disruptive trends, which includes like artificial intelligence, like cloud computing, electric vehicle, etc. The second of the example could be mega trends. So mega trends, which includes like your healthcare innovation, environmental sustainability, etc. And the third theme is like ESG. ESG is now slowly and gradually has started getting popularity in India also, which includes or which focuses on companies which are having strong corporate governance with ESG practices. And also there is an outcome oriented themes also, which is like funds such as consumption or manufacturing based fund, which includes which comes under this category. So again, I'll just like to quote here, as per ETF GI, globally, there are around 475 new thematic ETFs were launched worldwide in 2021, which is up from around 139 in 2020. So in 2020, there were 139 new fund got launched, which in 2021 number reached up to 475. As that this data I'm talking about is as on April 2022. So thematic ETFs have witnessed more than a $69 billion of inflows in the past 12 months, while all the regions have witnessed net inflows, and especially if we talk about US or Europe, that has been leading this particular trend. So it's slowly and gradually picking up across the globe, I must say.
About the Indian investors. So if we are talking about them, as you said, it's globally picking up. So what are the kind of themes so that Indian investors could explore for their investments? If you could throw light on that.
Yeah, I mean, when we talk about India, in India, the thematic landscape being limited basically to old economy themes like infrastructure, housing, or consumption-based funds. Investor can consider now, including those themes which are already available in India, which I talked about. Apart from them, investor can consider investing into next big emerging themes and mega trends also. Like, as I said, ESG is something which is gaining traction. Artificial intelligence is again a very good theme. Electric vehicle is again a very good theme and a popular theme where investors are now more keen about clean energy, cloud computing, etc. These are the themes which are actually gaining more traction into the world, and slowly and gradually, I can foresee that Indian investor can also look at for those sort of themes, which are basically expected to transform the way we live and work. So international thematic funds can be one of the suitable investment avenue to take advantage of the opportunity where this global diversification can give investors exposure to such global mega trends, okay, which are the at this point of time, if you talk about, not yet available in the Indian stock market right now. So that can be a good opportunity for Indian investors also.
Now, as with any investment, we always talk about risk. So, for our viewers, if you could tell us what kind of risk that would be associated with thematic investments, and also, I mean, what type of investors, I mean, is thematic investing appropriate for, if you could?
So when I talk about thematic fund, be it a actively managed fund or a passive fund, they have their own inherent risk, I must say, because the return risk characteristics of each product differs significantly from one or another. There may be broad-based themes like ESG that might give you stable returns with lesser volatility, whereas themes like robotics or AI, which are basically expected to scale in the future, might be able to generate higher returns, but would have higher risk uh, proposition attached to them also. Thematic funds have been concentration. They have higher concentration risk than market cap based funds, lesser correlation with broader markets. The performance of these funds may diverge and can be cyclical at times. Thematic products can be considered ideal for investors looking for long-term strategic allocation for to structurally strong themes. Investors should choose a portfolio that is aligned into their risk profile and investment objective. So that's what I would say investor can look at these themes.
So now that you have talked about portfolio, so how should an investor create a portfolio using thematic funds? I mean, what should be the allocation?
So, based on investment objective and conviction about a particular theme, because every investor has their own conviction or understanding, or maybe not investor, maybe their advisor also. So, investor can take a short-term tactical call also on these thematic funds, or maybe they should make a long-term strategic allocation also, where they can patiently ride out a growth story, growth cycle of future-based themes, since these investments have higher concentrated risk compared to broad-based fund, as I highlighted earlier also, investors can consider around 10% of allocation to these thematic funds to start with. And if an investor follows the core and satellite approach, then I must say that thematic fund can be part of your satellite portfolio. The core portfolio should include broad-based indices such as S&P 500, top 50, if we talk about globally, or in India, say Nifty 50. These kind of index or ETFs can give you more core, portion for your portfolio. So satellite portfolio can include thematic products like electric vehicle, artificial intelligence, cloud computing, etc. So investors should keep a balance where certain percentage of his overall portfolio can be looked for thematic, and rest can be invested into core a portion from a portfolio perspective.
With this, we come to the end of today's episode of Investments Made Easy on Thematic Investing. Thank you, Mr. Dalia, for joining us today. Viewers, we hope you enjoyed your conversation today. Please don't forget to comments and feedback on this episode. You can also share your suggestions and questions at letters@outlookmoney.com. We'll be back with our next edition soon. Till then, stay invested and keep following Outlook Money.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.